Hello, everyone. Welcome to Celsius 233, your go-to place for fiction book summaries. Today we will immerse ourselves in Paradise Lost by John Milton. Paradise Lost, an epic poem by John Milton, first published in 1667, is widely regarded as one of the greatest works of English literature. The poem explores the biblical story of the fall of man, detailing the rebellion of Satan, the temptation of Adam and Eve, and their eventual expulsion from Eden. Written in blank verse, Milton's work grapples with themes of free will, obedience, and redemption. Through grand and vivid language, it reflects on humanity's place in the universe and attempts to justify the ways of God to men. Plot summary. In the realm of eternal light and harmony, Satan, once the most radiant of angels, seethed with envy and pride. His ambition drove him to challenge the sovereignty of God, gathering a legion of rebellious angels to wage war in heaven. But God's might was unmatched, and with a devastating thunder, Satan and his followers were cast down from the celestial heights, hurled into the abyss of hell, a fiery wasteland of despair. There, amidst the inferno, Satan roused his fallen comrades. Though broken, his spirit remained unyielding. As he looked out over the desolate landscape, he resolved that it was better to reign in hell than serve in heaven. With Beelzebub at his side, Satan rallied the fallen angels to continue their rebellion by a subtler means. They would corrupt God's newest creation, man. Satan embarked on a perilous journey through the dark, chaotic void that separated hell from heaven. After navigating the treacherous regions of chaos and night, he arrived at the gates of the new world, a paradise crafted with divine beauty, where earth was a garden of life and light. Guarding the entrance to this world were two formidable beings: sin, Satan's own offspring, and death, their monstrous child. With cunning persuasion, Satan convinced them to grant him passage, and he slipped into the newly created Eden, where he would lay his plans to subvert the innocence of mankind. In heaven, God foresaw Satan's scheme, but chose not to intervene directly. He valued the free will given to his creations, knowing that without the capacity to choose, love and obedience would be hollow. His Son, the embodiment of divine love, offered himself as a future sacrifice to redeem humankind once they fell from grace. Meanwhile, in the lush gardens of Eden, Adam and Eve lived in harmony with nature, each other, and their Creator. They were free to enjoy all the bounty of the earth, save one restriction: they were forbidden to eat from the tree of knowledge. The first man and woman shared a profound love, their souls united in purity, unaware of the malice that crept toward them. Satan, in the guise of a serpent, slithered through the garden's boughs, watching his prey. He observed the innocence of Eve and recognized in her curiosity an opportunity. While Adam and Eve worked separately, Satan approached Eve as she wandered, subtly weaving words of flattery and temptation. He spoke of the forbidden fruit and how it could unlock divine knowledge, making them as gods. Though hesitant, Eve's desire for wisdom swelled. Her innocence gave way to temptation, and she plucked the fruit from the tree of knowledge, eating of it. In that moment, the universe trembled, and the fall of man began. Eve, now burdened with the knowledge of good and evil, felt a wave of shame and fear. She sought out Adam, who, out of his deep love for her, chose to share her fate. Though he knew the gravity of the sin, he could not bear the thought of losing her. Together, they consumed the fruit, and in an instant, their pure, idyllic world transformed. Shame and guilt clouded their hearts, and for the first time, they felt the weight of mortality. As night fell, they hid themselves in fear, but God's presence could not be evaded. Confronted with their disobedience, Adam and Eve confessed their transgression. Though saddened, God passed judgment. The serpent, once a beautiful creature, was condemned to crawl upon its belly for eternity. Eve's punishment would be pain in childbirth and subjugation to her husband, while Adam's fate was to toil and labor the cursed ground for sustenance. They were banished from Eden, no longer able to dwell in the presence of divine perfection. Yet even in his justice, God offered mercy. The Son, who had witnessed the fall with compassion, promised that humanity would one day be redeemed. Though Adam and Eve would suffer the consequences of their actions, their descendants would have the chance for salvation through the future sacrifice of the Son, who would defeat sin and death. As Adam and Eve prepared to leave Eden, the archangel Michael descended to lead them away. Though Adam was initially filled with despair, Michael offered him a vision of the future. Adam saw the trials and tribulations that would befall his offspring, from the murder of Abel by Cain to the rise and fall of empires. But amidst the suffering, there was hope. Michael showed him the coming of a savior, a redeemer who would restore humanity's lost grace. With these revelations, Adam's heart was comforted. Though he and Eve were cast out of Eden, they carried with them the knowledge that their suffering was not the end, but the beginning of a long path toward redemption. Hand in hand, they left the gates of paradise, walking into a world of hardship, yet with the promise that one day, mankind would be reconciled with God. Looking for more great reads? Be sure to check out other books by John Milton. Find them in the description or on Celsius 233. Remember, while our summaries capture the essence, they can never replace the full experience of reading the book. If this summary intrigued you, consider diving into the complete story, buy the book, and immerse yourself in John Milton's original work. Bye-bye, take care, have fun.